objectivity and who to trust. They can come in and say, Judd Welcher said this and that. It doesn't make it so. Judd Welcher, Dr. Welcher, never in any report, in any presentation, in any testimony to you, ever suggested this is how it happened. This was how his arm was. This is how his feet was. He was trying to show whether or not the orientation. Could this happen with the angle, with the height? That's all that test was. It was no more. But what they do is they reposture it, repackage it, and say it means this when it doesn't, and we're going to show you why it's not that, therefore we win. That's all that is. It's semantics. Judd Welcher, Dr. Welcher, never suggested that. And his work on tech stream data, unassailable. And so what we have, inevitably, is we have a timeline that never moves, data that never changes, physical evidence that can't be put in that spot without a collision. We have, inevitably, proof, without any doubt, that on January 29, 2022, Ms. Reed was with Mr. O'Keefe, and she got drunk. She drank. She was 2 to 3 times over the legal limit. And they went to a party, an after party, and they were fighting. They were fighting. It was a relationship in decline. And he got out of the car, and he had a brief window of life left. And when he got out, and she drove away, she couldn't let it go. She got drunk. She hit him. She left him to die. It's that simple. We don't know exactly how this collision happened, but we have a good idea from the physical evidence, and we know that it happened. Can someone have a collision without lower body injuries? Could I have slide 19, please? You bet they can. We don't know if this is the body position. We don't know if this is the exact speed, but what it tells us, this is viable. Look at the debris field. Look at his turn. Remember his sneaker on that curb that got lodged against the sneaker? Mr. O'Keefe then falls back, hits his head, counter coup, left to die. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt what happened that night. There is no doubt who did it. You have a very difficult task ahead of you when you consider the evidence and you consider the law. Very difficult. There are 3 charges. There is second-degree murder. Ms. Reed, when she chose to drive back at Mr. O'Keefe in that night with a 6,000-pound Lexus, in that anger, 75%, whether she meant to hit him or not, didn't mean to kill him, she hit him. Straight, it is a plain and strong likelihood of death. You would never back down your driveway if your kids were at the end of the driveway. You would say, well, you're going to kill somebody? You would never do it because you would expect, if you drove at them at that speed, that someone would die. That's second-degree murder. OUI manslaughter, she's drunk, she was reckless. She doesn't have to know she hit him. She doesn't even have to know she hit him. But she did. She did. And she left a man who was kind and generous and thoughtful. She left him alone. She left him alone to die. Could I have slide 22, please? He is not an it. John O'Keefe is not a body. John O'Keefe was not a buffalo on a prairie. John O'Keefe was a person, and he was murdered by Karen Reed. Sorry?
I can see that.
Is that consistent with the damage that you saw when you looked at that Lexus in Dayton hours later?
Consistent.
See that right taillight, the white mark?
I can.
Missing, yes?
Looks like snow is packed on it.
Does it look like there's a red taillight there?
Does not.
This is before you saw the car in Dyson. Do you know that, or you wouldn't know that?
That doesn't look like the Reed's driveway.
Do you know if this photograph was taken before or after you made your observations in Dyson?
I do not.
The right rear taillight and the missing parts there, is that consistent with what you saw around 3:27 on January 29, 2022?
Yes.
Sorry?
I can see that.
Is that consistent with the damage that you saw when you looked at that Lexus in Dayton hours later?
Consistent.
So back at 5:07, when she began her search looking for John, she backed out of the garage, and what would happen next would change the entire course of this case. As she backed out of that garage, she hit John's Traverse and cracked her right.
In the course of your analysis or review of materials here, were you ever provided with a video of the defendant backing out of a garage and making contacts with Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle in his driveway at about 5:07 in the morning on January 29th?
No.
Considering all the data and analysis that you did you come to a conclusion to a reasonable degree of engineering certainty whether the right rear taillight of Miss Reed's Lexus was broken or damaged during the contact with Mr. O'Keefe's car at around 5:07 a.m. on January 29, 2022?
That impact did not break or crack that taillight.
Now, as far as from your review and your testing and everything that you did in this case, if a collision occurred at a lower speed, say 1, 2, anywhere from 0 to 5 miles an hour, would that create the damage to the taillight that you observed in this particular case?
At that speed, no.
If a collision occurred at a lower speed, say 1, 2, anywhere from 0 to 5 miles an hour, would that create the damage to the taillight that you observed in this particular case?
At that speed, no.